This Talend Data Mapper tutorial will cover arbitrary flat files, creating a structure manually to process them. Now we're going to look at the flat file support to handle arbitrary types of flat files. So we have a simple flat file here which is terminated by a new line and has the records tagged at the beginning of the line here. So let's make a structure that deals with this. So we'll create a new structure where we manually enter elements because we're just going to build this up by hand. And we want the flat representation. And we'll pick a sample document from the workspace. And since there's no elements in here, we're having it's giving us errors that there's no element, there's no root element, so we have to add a root element. And now it's no longer giving us an error, and the highlighting shows that everything belongs to the root element. So we can start adding elements, and every time we change it, it will recalculate the highlighting for us. So we want to add a looping element, and we'll make this a loop. So if we do a show document, then we can see how the elements are interpreted as XML. So the loop is getting all of the elements in one line. So we need to say that the loop element is terminated by the new line character. So here in the terminator, this is the character string that terminates the element. So we'll add a new line there. And then if we do a show document here, we can see now every instance of the loop is getting a new line, including a blank line at the end. So now what we want to do is add elements to pick up the text. So we'll add an A element for the text, and we need to indicate that the A element gets text when the initiator is when it sees the characters AA. Now, if we turn on the highlighting, or that you see the highlighting works there, but we're also seeing error in rules. So there's something that's gone wrong. So if we look at the errors, then it's saying, well, it found a B and it was expecting an A because this loop has only a single element that only expects A's, and it saw something other than an A after the new line terminator, so that's an error. Another thing you can do is show the rules. So these are the rules that it generates for how the flat file is interpreted. So you can look at any given element. So at the beginning of the loop element, an AA will switch over to AA text, and it's terminated by these things. So this is basically the logic about how the flat processor interprets the structure definition. So now what we need to do is add the elements to take the B and C text. So we'll say B text, and we'll add an element for C text. And now we know we need to have these B. The B has to start with B, and we know that the C has to start with CC. So, and that's it. If we look at the highlighting, we see there's the A's, there's the B's, and there's the C's, because we have a loop here. And if we do a show document, we see the text as we expect: A text, B text, C text, and so forth. So this is just a little bit of an introduction for how you manually add elements and can build a structure definition to accommodate anything that the flat file processor can handle. So it respects the sizes, it respects the minimum and maximum occurs, the group types, which sequence or choice, and the initiator and terminator fields. And using all of those together, you can actually handle a lot of types of text. And if you have, if it's too much to handle in one pass, then the way to do that essentially is make multiple maps running back to back, which can translate the data maybe from flat to XML or flat or some simpler flat, and then translate the data further. That's often the best way to solve problems.